Pause everything right now. I'm going to expose why 99% of humanity will perish without ever experiencing a single authentic moment of their existence. And if you're here at 2 a.m., doubting every decision you've ever made, this might be the most important 30 minutes of your entire existence. Picture this: the stranger beside you on the subway, your colleague in the next cubicle, perhaps even the person staring back at you in the mirror, all living borrowed existences while their true essence withers away. Each sunrise, you respond to an alarm programmed by someone else's schedule. Each day, you obey guidelines drafted by someone else's hand. Each sunset, you collapse into bed knowing you've burned another 24 hours performing a role written by external expectations. But what if there existed a 500-year-old blueprint that history's most influential figures employed to shatter this invisible cage? What if your liberation was concealed within the most controversial corners of strategic philosophy, penned by a thinker so formidable that his very identity became interchangeable with merciless dominance? Niccolò Machiavelli didn't craft The Prince to help you ascend conventional hierarchies. He authored it to reveal how to claim your personal sovereignty in a system engineered to keep you subordinate. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to discover something that will change how you see your life. You'll uncover the harsh reality about why conformity suffocates your capabilities, how solitude can transform you into an unstoppable force, and the precise methodology to construct an existence so genuine that people will plead to walk beside you. But fair warning, once you see this, you can't unsee it. Your perception of your reality will permanently shift. Are you ready to wake up from the matrix? Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose my path. Truth 1. Breaking the conformity trap. Let me hit you with a disturbing reality. From your first breath, civilization begins sculpting you into its desired form. Attend school, achieve high marks, secure a dependable position, enter marriage, purchase property, produce offspring, reach retirement, cease existing. It's an identical screenplay distributed to everyone. And we're assured this is the route to contentment. But here's the part they conveniently omit. This screenplay wasn't architected for your satisfaction. It was engineered for their convenience. Think about your typical day. How many decisions originating from your authentic self do you actually make? The hour you awaken, controlled by employment obligations. The garments you select, influenced by societal conventions. The sustenance you consume, manipulated by advertising campaigns and collective pressure. Even your aspirations and ambitions have been filtered through what society deems acceptable or achievable. Contemporary civilization has perfected the mirage of freedom while systematically demolishing genuine autonomy. We're presented with countless variations of identical merchandise and deceived into believing we're liberated. Meanwhile, the fundamental architecture of our existence remains indistinguishable from everyone else's. This programming penetrates deeper than you comprehend. Your educational institutions trained you to arrange yourself in formations, request permission before articulating thoughts, and comply with directives without interrogation. Your professional environment reinforces these patterns through attire regulations, scheduled gatherings, and evaluations that quantify obedience above innovation. Your social environments perpetuate it through whispered judgments about those who dare deviate, silent coercion to blend in, and incentives for uniformity. The outcome: a generation of animated corpses who've erased the memory that they once harbored their own visions. Individuals who've become so proficient at embodying others' expectations that they've severed connection with their authentic identity beneath all the conditioning. Machiavelli observed, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." But what if you've deliberately chosen to stand apart? What if you've decided to rely on your own reasoning? The truth is, most individuals are petrified of isolation because they've never cultivated faith in their personal discernment. They'd prefer to be mistaken alongside the masses than correct in solitude. This terror of exclusion imprisons millions within existences they never genuinely selected. Examine the professional trajectory you're currently following. Did you select it because it authentically ignited something within you? Or because it appeared secure? Because it would garner admiration? Because your parents sanctioned it? Be honest with yourself. Analyze your habitual patterns. Do you examine social platforms immediately upon waking because you desire to, or because it's what everyone else does? Do you consume the same entertainment, absorb the same music, acquire the same commodities as your social circle? When was the last time you made a choice that was completely your own? This extends to intimate connections. How many individuals accept partners who satisfy society's criteria rather than someone who genuinely comprehends their essence? How many friendships persist through obligation rather than authentic resonance? How many exchanges occur where you're acting rather than existing authentically? The traditional route promises stability but delivers ordinariness. It promises inclusion but delivers uniformity. It promises achievement but defines achievement in external terminology. It promises joy but delivers emotional numbness. It promises significance but delivers hollowness. The most devastating aspect? Most people never recognize their imprisonment. They attribute their discontentment to insufficient wealth, inadequate relationships, or wrong locations. They exhaust their entire existence attempting to optimize someone else's competition instead of designing their own. Genuine satisfaction, the variety that makes you spring from bed each morning, exists beyond these predetermined parameters. It exists in the territory between external expectations and what you recognize as truth about yourself. It demands the bravery to disappoint individuals who never authentically understood you in the first place. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My path matters. Truth 2. Mastering self-reliance in a connected world. Now here's where the majority miscalculate catastrophically. They assume selecting your personal path means transforming into a recluse or severing every relationship around you. That's not strategic autonomy. That's merely seclusion. The authentic power maneuver is mastering complete self-sufficiency while simultaneously engaging meaningfully with humanity. This isn't about dismissing connection. It's about approaching it from a foundation of strength rather than desperation. When you cultivate genuine self-reliance, something extraordinary occurs in your interactions. You cease pursuing validation and begin providing value. You cease attempting to assimilate and begin distinguishing yourself. You cease following and begin directing. Let me illustrate with a tangible scenario. Envision you're participating in a business discussion where everyone is endorsing a disastrous proposition. The conventional approach would be either to voice opposition and risk appearing obstinate, or remain silent and preserve false harmony. Both alternatives render you reactive to collective dynamics. The self-reliant approach? You've already completed your investigation. You possess your personal analysis, your personal alternatives, and your personal conviction. When you articulate, it's not emerging from insecurity or the compulsion to be acknowledged. It's emerging from authentic mastery and independent reasoning. This demands respect in ways that crowd following never could. But let's excavate deeper into what self-reliance actually manifests in reality. It signifies possessing your personal information channels instead of depending on what everyone else is consuming. It signifies developing your personal criteria for decision-making instead of delegating your judgment to others. It signifies constructing your personal definition of success instead of pursuing metrics that hold no authentic significance for you. Self-reliance signifies being financially autonomous enough to abandon situations that violate your principles. It signifies being emotionally grounded enough that you don't require constant validation from others. It signifies being intellectually inquisitive enough to construct your personal perspectives instead of adopting whatever's currently popular. Machiavelli declared, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." When you operate from authentic self-awareness and independent reasoning, the select few who matter will perceive your authenticity, while the masses who don't matter will respect your fortitude. Strategic autonomy actually amplifies collaboration because it introduces unique perspective to discussions. When everyone reasons identically, nobody reasons substantially. But when you've cultivated your personal viewpoint, you become invaluable precisely because you're distinctive. Consider the most accomplished entrepreneurs throughout history. They didn't succeed by replicating what everyone else was executing. They succeeded by developing their personal vision so lucidly that others desired to accompany them. Steve Jobs didn't survey customers about their desires. He manifested products they didn't realize they required. Oprah didn't conform to television conventions. She established her personal style that others attempted to duplicate. This is the contradiction of leadership. The more comfortable you become standing solitary, the more individuals desire to follow you. The more you trust your personal judgment, the more others trust your judgment. The more authentic you become, the more authentic connections you magnetize. In negotiations, this principle is absolute gold. When you don't require the arrangement, you secure superior arrangements. When you're not desperate for approval, individuals become eager to grant it to you. When you're genuinely prepared to withdraw, others become more willing to accommodate your conditions. But here's the crucial element. This isn't about executing manipulative tactics or exploiting people. It's about developing such crystalline awareness of your personal worth and direction that you naturally magnetize aligned opportunities and partnerships. The self-reliant individual doesn't network, they magnetize. They don't pursue opportunities, opportunities pursue them. They don't market themselves, their accomplishments communicate for themselves. They don't need to demonstrate their worth, their value is self-evident. This metamorphosis doesn't materialize overnight. It requires consistently selecting your personal judgment over popular sentiment. It requires declining favorable opportunities so you can accept exceptional ones. It requires disappointing certain people so you can serve the correct people. It requires short-term discomfort for long-term fulfillment. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I attract alignment. Truth 3. The art of calculated risk. Let's address risk directly. Most individuals exhaust their entire existence attempting to evade it. But here's what they fail to comprehend. The most substantial risk is accepting no risks whatsoever. Every significant accomplishment in human chronicles emerged from someone willing to venture into ambiguous territory. Every revolutionary breakthrough, every innovation, every moment of advancement materialized because someone selected the unknown over the comfortable. But there's a critical distinction between reckless gambling and calculated risk-taking. Reckless individuals leap without observation. Calculated risk-takers examine the terrain, prepare for multiple scenarios, and then execute informed decisions based on their personal analysis. The terror of risk is actually the terror of accountability. When you choose safety, you can perpetually blame external circumstances for your dissatisfaction. When you embrace risks, you become accountable for the outcomes, both favorable and unfavorable. Most individuals would rather be casualties of circumstance than architects of their personal narrative. Machiavelli proclaimed, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." This isn't advocating cruelty. It's about being respected for your competence and decisiveness rather than liked for your agreeableness. When you embrace calculated risks, even the attempts that don't manifest perfectly provide invaluable lessons and propel you forward. Every failure transforms into data. Every obstacle transforms into preparation for a resurgence. Every mistake transforms into education you cannot acquire any alternative way. Consider it this way. What's the most catastrophic outcome if you pursued your authentic aspirations instead of choosing safety? Seriously, think about it. Most occasions, the worst-case scenario isn't actually that severe, especially compared to the gradual death of living someone else's existence. Let's examine some prevalent fears and their reality. Fear of financial devastation, but you're already financially imprisoned in a system that doesn't compensate your genuine value. Fear of social rejection, but you're already surrounded by individuals who don't genuinely know or appreciate you. Fear of failure, but you're already failing to manifest your authentic potential. On the opposite side, what's the most catastrophic outcome if you don't embrace risks? You'll arrive at the conclusion of your existence having never discovered what you were genuinely capable of accomplishing. You'll have chosen safety so consistently that you never actually existed. You'll perish with your symphony still unplayed. The Machiavellian principle of anticipating obstacles isn't about pessimism. it's about preparation. When you've contemplated the potential challenges and prepared contingencies, you can advance with confidence rather than terror. Here's a practical framework for calculated risk-taking. First, explicitly define what you desire to accomplish and why it holds significance for you. Ambiguous aspirations generate ambiguous outcomes. Get precise about your desired result and comprehend your deeper motivation. This clarity will sustain you through inevitable obstacles. Second, identify the specific risks involved and their probability. Most terrors dissolve when you examine them closely. Document your worst-case scenarios and honestly evaluate how probable they are. Frequently, you'll discover that your terrors are based on imagination rather than evidence. Third, develop contingency strategies. What will you execute if Plan A doesn't function? What about Plan B? Having backup strategies doesn't signify you anticipate failure. It signifies you're prepared to adapt. This preparation actually makes success more probable because you can pivot rapidly when circumstances shift. Fourth, commence small and construct momentum. You don't need to wager everything on one massive risk. Embrace smaller calculated risks that construct your confidence and competence over time. Each success creates capacity for larger risks later. Fifth, establish a timeline and success metrics. How will you recognize if it's functioning? When will you reassess? Having clear milestones prevents you from either surrendering too early or persisting too long with something that isn't functioning. Finally, take action. Analysis without action is merely procrastination in disguise. At some juncture, you must cease planning and commence executing. Perfect information doesn't exist, and perfect timing never arrives. Remember, the objective isn't to eliminate risk. It's to embrace smarter risks. The individual who never fails is the individual who never attempts anything worth executing. The individual who never confronts uncertainty never discovers what they're genuinely capable of accomplishing. Risk is not your adversary. Mediocrity is. Uncertainty is not your predicament. Complacency is. The unknown is not what you should fear. The known limitations of your current existence are what should petrify you. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I embrace uncertainty. Truth 4. Creating your own path. Now arrives the most critical component, actually constructing your personal path. This isn't about rejecting everything civilization offers. It's about consciously selecting what serves your authentic vision and discarding what doesn't. The initial step is brutal honesty about what you actually desire, not what you believe you should desire. Strip away the expectations, the judgments, the terror, and the programming. What would you pursue if you knew failure was impossible? What would you execute if nobody was observing? What makes you feel most alive? This process of self-discovery is more challenging than it sounds because most of us have been conditioned to ignore our authentic desires for so extended that we've forgotten what they are. You might need to revisit childhood memories to remember what genuinely excited you before the world instructed you to be realistic. This isn't a singular exercise. Your authentic vision will transform as you grow and learn. The key is maintaining connection to your internal compass while remaining flexible about the specific route. Machiavelli stated, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You require both cunning intelligence and bold courage to forge your personal path. Here's your comprehensive roadmap. Start by conducting a personal audit. What aspects of your current existence align with your authentic vision? What aspects are you maintaining through habit, terror, or external pressure? Be ruthlessly honest. This might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You cannot navigate toward your destination if you don't recognize where you currently are. Examine your daily schedule. How much of your time is invested in activities that energize you versus drain you? How much of your mental energy flows toward things you genuinely care about versus things you feel obligated to care about? How many of your relationships add value to your existence versus subtract from it? Next, identify your unique combination of strengths, interests, and values. What can you execute superior to most individuals? What do you find endlessly fascinating? What principles are non-negotiable for you? Your path should leverage these elements. Your strengths aren't merely your technical abilities. They include your personality characteristics, your thinking patterns, your natural talents, and your acquired abilities. Your interests aren't merely hobbies. They're the subjects and activities that capture your attention and energy. Your values aren't merely abstract concepts. They're the principles you're willing to sacrifice for. Then begin making small but consistent moves toward your vision. You don't need to resign from your employment tomorrow or relocate to another continent. Start with daily actions that align with your authentic direction. These might be as elementary as investing 30 minutes each morning on a project that matters to you, or as complex as initiating a side enterprise. The key is consistency over intensity. Small daily actions compound over time into massive results. One page written each day transforms into a manuscript in a year. One small business experiment each month transforms into mastery in entrepreneurship. One authentic conversation each week transforms into a network of genuine relationships. Create your own success metrics. Civilization will instruct you that success resembles wealth, status, or recognition. But what does success signify to you? Define it clearly so you'll recognize when you're winning. Your success metrics might include freedom measures, how much control you possess over your time and decisions. They might include impact measures, how much positive difference you're creating in the world. They might include fulfillment measures, how frequently you feel energized versus drained by your activities. Build your own feedback loops. Instead of relying on others' approval, develop methods to measure your progress against your personal standards. This keeps you focused on what matters rather than what's popular. Traditional feedback originates from supervisors, customers, critics, or social media metrics. But these external measures might not reflect what's actually important to your authentic path. Create internal measures that track your alignment with your values, your progress toward your vision, and your overall life satisfaction. Prepare for resistance. When you commence charting your personal course, some individuals won't comprehend. They might question your selections, predict failure, or attempt to convince you to return to the safe path. This is normal. Their discomfort with your independence frequently reflects their personal trapped situation. The resistance might originate from family members who desire you to follow their definition of success. It might originate from friends who feel threatened by your growth. It might originate from colleagues who prefer the predictable version of you. Remember that their opinions are based on their limitations, not your potential. Develop a support system of individuals who understand and encourage your authentic path. These might not be your current friends and family. You might need to discover new mentors, join different communities, or connect with like-minded individuals who share your commitment to authentic living. Remember, this is an ongoing process of adaptation and learning. Your path will twist and turn in ways you cannot predict. The objective isn't to have everything figured out. It's to remain true to your authentic vision while staying flexible about how to achieve it. Most importantly, trust your instincts. You possess access to information about yourself that nobody else possesses. You know your deepest desires, your hidden capabilities, and your unique perspective on the world. Use this knowledge. Your instincts are the accumulation of all your experiences, observations, and insights. They're your subconscious mind processing information faster than your conscious mind can analyze it. When something feels correct or incorrect, pay attention to that feeling. It's frequently more accurate than logical analysis. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust myself. We've covered substantial territory today. We've exposed how conformity traps suffocate your potential and keep you imprisoned in a life designed by others. We've explored how strategic self-reliance can actually amplify your relationships and opportunities, making you magnetic rather than desperate. We've discussed the power of calculated risk-taking and how even failures propel you forward, transforming every setback into fuel for your ascent. And we've provided a comprehensive framework for charting your unique course, a roadmap that works regardless of your starting point. But here's the reality. Information without action is worthless. You can consume every video, absorb every book, and attend every seminar. But until you actually commence walking your personal path, nothing transforms. Knowledge sitting in your mind is like money sitting in a vault, completely useless until it's put into circulation. Right now, at this very moment, you're at a crossroads. You can close this video and return to the comfortable prison you've been living in. You can tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, next year. You can make the same excuses that millions of people make every single day. Or you can recognize this moment for what it truly is, the dividing line between your old life and your new one. The world needs what you uniquely possess to offer. It needs your perspective, your talents, your vision. But it will never receive these gifts if you persist in attempting to be someone else. And here's what most people don't realize. The world is actually desperate for authentic individuals. In a sea of conformity, originality stands out like a lighthouse in the darkness. Consider the greatest contributions to human civilization. They all originated from individuals who dared to think differently, act independently, and create something unprecedented. They originated from people who refused to accept the status quo as permanent and chose to forge their personal path instead. Every innovation you use today, every freedom you enjoy, every advancement that makes your life better, all of it came from someone who said no to conformity and yes to their authentic vision. But here's what separates those who succeed from those who merely dream: action. Decisive, consistent, relentless action. The dreamers talk about what they'll do someday. The achievers are doing it today. The dreamers wait for perfect conditions. The achievers create conditions. The dreamers seek permission. The achievers grant themselves permission. Your throne isn't awaiting you in some distant future. It's not going to be delivered to you by others. It's not concealed in some secret location. Your throne exists the moment you decide to claim it. The moment you select your personal path over the well-traveled trail. The moment you trust yourself more than you trust the crowd. The question isn't whether you're capable of forging your personal path. You absolutely are. The question is whether you're willing to commence. Whether you're willing to disappoint some individuals to honor yourself. Whether you're willing to confront uncertainty to discover your potential. Whether you're willing to stand solitary if necessary to exist authentically. Every day you postpone is another day of living someone else's existence. Every excuse you fabricate is another brick in the prison you're constructing around your potential. Every occasion you select safety over authenticity, you're voting for mediocrity over magnificence. And the most tragic part? You're the only one holding the keys to your cell. You've been free this entire time. You just didn't know it. Think about where you'll be 1 year from now if nothing changes. Same routines, same frustrations, same unfulfilled potential. Now imagine where you could be if you started today. 1 year of authentic living. 1 year of choosing yourself. 1 year of calculated risks and personal growth. The difference between these two futures is the choice you make right now, in this moment. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not ready? Let me tell you something. You will fail. People will judge you. You're not ready. And none of that matters. Because the alternative, spending your entire life wondering, what if, is infinitely worse than any temporary failure or criticism. Start today. Start now. Take one small action that moves you toward your authentic vision. Send that email. Make that call. Take that first step. Write that first page. Have that difficult conversation. Make that investment in yourself. Your future self is waiting for you to commence. Remember, courage isn't the absence of terror. It's action in the presence of terror. You don't need to feel ready to commence. You don't need to possess all the answers. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to start. If this video opened your eyes to new possibilities, smash that like button, Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you desire more strategies for living existence on your personal terms, subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell. Your support helps us reach more individuals who are ready to break free from conformity and seize their personal throne. Your path is calling. It's been calling your entire existence. It's time to stop following and start leading. It's time to cease fabricating excuses and commence making progress. It's time to cease living someone else's dream and commence creating your personal reality. Your throne awaits. Will you claim it? I want you to drop this final affirmation in the comments. My time is now.